What I'm about to talk about in this video might actually piss off some people. And the reason for that is because most people in the social media space, especially on Instagram, on X, they think of themselves as entrepreneurs. And you see all these young people and you see all these people who put in their profile descriptions of entrepreneur or solopreneur, founder, startup founder, all this bullshit. And the reason I'm saying it's bullshit is because most of the people who claim they are entrepreneurs, who claim they are founders, they are nothing but wannabes. And that's actually important because most of these people, they want the prestige that comes with calling themselves an entrepreneur. But that's a problem in and on itself. Because if you think you are an entrepreneur, but then your actions do not reflect that, you are deluding yourself into thinking you are something you are not. Now, the reason I say that most people are wannabe entrepreneurs, and the actual truth about why most people stay at the level of wannabe rather than becoming a real entrepreneur, is because they change directions far too early. And the reason most people actually change directions way too early is because they do not realize from the start that what they attempt to do, which is become an entrepreneur, is actually far more difficult than they envision it to be. Because if you think about money, money is the one thing pretty much everybody else on this planet wants. Meaning it's more competitive than pretty much anything else. Because everybody wants it. So most people go with this idea, oh, I'm gonna become an entrepreneur and I'm gonna start my own business and company or whatever the fuck they think, and I'm gonna have success and I'm gonna have all this money and nice cars and da-da-da. But they never actually, for a second, think that it's going to be harder than they imagine it to be. So when they actually do it, it's very cool, for the first month or two, but then they realize they don't see any results. Wait a second, I'm working so hard, but I don't see any results. Well, why? Well, because you underestimated by a huge factor how difficult it's truly going to be. And a good rule of thumb is to, whatever endeavor you want to start, it's most likely going to be at least 10 times more difficult than you thought. So most people go about 1 or 2 or 3 months without seeing any results for their work. And after about 3 months, you start questioning yourself. Am I in the right business? Am I in the right industry? Should I try something else? And your mind starts to think about different ideas. Maybe if I do this, and you watch a YouTube video. That's a good idea. Maybe I should start that business. That's a good skill to learn. Maybe I should start learning that skill. So most people, what they do is they actually end up jumping from flower to flower to flower to flower. It's called shiny object syndrome. And most people, most wannabe entrepreneurs, suffer from that. I want you to understand this. Please understand this. If you want to be a real entrepreneur, if you want to genuinely have success in whatever business you start, if you want to see any results in your side hustle, in your business, in your company, the single most important thing is your ability to work and to keep going whenever you do not see results, whenever everything goes to shit, whenever you are constantly failing and you see no real improvement or no real movement forward, no real progress. That is when it is most important to keep going, because breakthroughs almost always happen on the verge of breakdowns. And that's why most people never ever see any real results, is because they do not stick long enough with the same idea. And so the best thing you can possibly do is pick one skill, pick one business idea, one industry, and just keep going and going at it. Months and months and months on end. Endless struggles, endless problems, countless nights where you're working until 3 a.m. in the morning, sleepless, sleep deprived, with no results, only failures. Because that's where most people give up. And that's what separates the wannabe entrepreneur from the entrepreneur. Now there's a single problem with that. And that is, there is a point when you might have to give up. And it's recognizing when that point is. And that's a very difficult question to answer. And I don't think there's a general answer as to when you should give up on a business idea, on learning a certain skill, when you should change lanes, go into a different industry. It's a case-by-case scenario. It's very difficult to just give a general answer because everybody's life is different. Everybody's going into different industries. Everybody's trying to learn different skills. Everybody has a different intellect, different levels of capability and ability. So it's very difficult to pinpoint, okay, you should give up after 3 months, you should give up after 6 months. It's almost impossible, it's pretty much impossible to say. However, say you want to become an email marketing expert and you want to start an email marketing agency. The very least you can do is to keep going until you get your first win. Give yourself a target. Give yourself a certain goal. For example, you could say, I'm not giving up until I get my first paid client. Do not give up until then. Do not give up until you get your first win. After you get your first win, after you feel that kick, that hit of dopamine, when your work actually pays off, when months of work without seeing results, with nothing but struggle and problems actually finally pays off, your perspective will completely shift and you will see things from a different angle. And after you get your first win, your whole mentality might change and you might say, actually, you know what? I didn't want to give up anymore. I was about to give up. I didn't want to give up anymore because if I can get just one more client like this, if I can get just 2 more, I got my first client. What if I could get just 2 more clients like that? Just 2 more testimonials. Where could that take me eventually? So what I'm trying to really say here is that if you really want to be an entrepreneur, a real one, not just a wannabe, if you want your business idea to actually take off, if you want your side hustle to turn into a real full-time business, if you want to quit that stupid 9-to-5 job in the supermarket, in the stupid office job you have, the best thing you can possibly do, the best way to turn that into a reality is to keep going. Not switching ideas, not changing lanes, not giving up into those thoughts of that, oh, maybe if I just start this business, oh, maybe if I just do this instead, oh, maybe if I just invest into that instead. Do not let those thoughts win. Do not pick a skill, pick an industry, pick a business idea you care about, try to solve a real problem, and keep going at it. And do not change. And do not give up until you see your first win. That is the single best thing you can do if you want to become a real entrepreneur. And it is the single best thing you can do if you want to differentiate yourself from most wannabes. That's my advice for you. Keep grinding.